Want to welcome everyone to our smart lockers and total solutions to a contactless delivery for mail and more. Our presenter today, I'll get rid of those. Our presenter today is Don McCarty. Don is the Director of Postal Passport and Printing Services at East Tennessee State University, located in Johnson City, Tennessee. Don, it's so great to see you. See a face I haven't seen for so long. Welcome and thank you so much.
Hey, glad to be here. All right. So we hit that start broadcast?
It's on, babe. Go.
Okay. All right. All right. So we're ready to go. We're going to talk about lockers and smart mailboxes, not only how they work, but more importantly, in this area of COVID, how they have really allowed us to go completely contactless, and some neat features of the locker systems. I've been talking about lockers for 7 years. They keep getting better and better all the time. So we're going to have a lot of information. I will go over some slides really fast. This full presentation will be available afterwards, so we don't have to worry about that. All right. So just some admin notes. Hey, bathrooms, you know where they're at. Food and drink. This is one great thing about this. We can have whatever we want. Cell phones, I can't even hear them. Clothes, if you're like my boss, sometimes she's ready for work, maybe not always. All right, slides, lots of info. Like I said, we'll be reviewing those, but a lot of them I'll gloss over because the information will be available later. And questions and answers at the end. Hopefully we got it. We also have some videos I threw together the last second. All right, so key topics. We're going to go about, how the major issues with mail delivery, student smart lockers, packages. That's what everybody's getting now. There's probably 100+ schools that have some version of a locker system. And then we have smart boxes, which is for letters, flights, and packages. We have a very unique system here. Department lockers. The smart ones are great and they're very useful, but there's times that we found at certain locations. I'll show you what these department lockers are and how they also are a really great economical solution. Steps to reduce COVID. We got some basics in there. And then we all want to talk about, we're always asked to be doing more. Postal, printing, we've all merged together in a lot of places, but we all need to keep doing more and more. So we find ways to work with other departments on campus and see what we can do to help them, which just makes us more vital. All right, and at the end, I have some important things to consider and some stuff about how to get started. All right, so who has these mail problems? All of us at the beginning of the school year, as it's going to be coming around in August, it depends on where we are in COVID, very important to where we're prepared. But we're going to get too many parcels. We're never going to have enough space. We always say we never have enough staff. We don't have enough time to get everything done. Not enough money, don't have the right equipment. Leadership doesn't understand about our mail. Some of us are lucky. We've got great bosses. They support us 100%. Other ones, they really struggle to get their bosses to understand how vital postal is. I think because of COVID, postal's been, and the print side have been really able to show the essential function of it, not just on mail delivery, but we've done a lot of printing on the signs, the buildings, everywhere, talking about COVID, buildings being closed and stuff. So we say those aren't mail problems. Mail problems if you're getting your mail stolen, right? You have a logistics problem, so we're going to solve that logistics problem. All right, delivery issues. Parcel delivery, volume is always going up. We keep hearing that. Space is at a premium. Everybody wants to take away space. Nobody's walking around campus saying, hey, let's go ahead and give everybody some more space. Smart lockers, it's not if, when, who, what, it's coming. It's, you're going to find out that any operation that's getting a decent amount of mail, they are going to be forced to go to these because the whole world is going to lockers. You can look at every company. You go into Walmart's now, they've got locker systems. There's really not any place that can't find a place to put a good locker system. Letter mail, it's going down. We know it's going down, but it's never going away. We got bills, we got checks, we got a lot of stuff that are just never going to disappear. So, these traditional boxes, as you'll see later in my presentation, they take up a ton of room, a ton of time, and they really just severely impact your operation negatively. So we're going to show you what's going on in the industry out there with these folder options. I've always been against them, but really now with COVID, they just really seem to be a bad idea. All right, so my original smart lockers, just some quick numbers, you can read them. This is it. We had 2 systems on the left, the bigger one on the right. It did very good. You can see a 96% pickup of all my packages in 24 hours. We could really maximize by putting more packages in the same door for people once they figured that out. You can get a lot of packages, you know, don't overbuy the locker system. I always preach that, all right? But great news, we saved a lot of money by not needing a package tracking system. A lot of people still want to spend a lot of money on package tracking. It means more handling, more chance for contamination, more cost. You know, this system I'm going to be showing you today is the one system, and there is no other company needing to support it. All right, so a lot of people always have questions. Hey, what are the size of the doors? You got those in this presentation. You can see the outside and the configuration. They can be configured any way you want. Where it says individual units, that's the size they come in. You can have large doors, medium doors, extra small doors. They go side by side, they hook up. So very easy to come in, put them in there. The idea that we love about it, all metal, as you're going to see, and I'll probably mention it again, the doors are very smooth. There's no numbers, there's no handles, there's no nothing. So when we wipe that screen off and then we finish by wiping all the doors after we've loaded up every time, it takes 2 to 3 minutes to wipe down that entire system that you see before you. All right, Locker Bank 2, different doors. You can see on the left side of the screen, some very large doors, you know, the size of those mini fridges, but the tall mini fridges, not the small one. So you got a very good selection of how many packages. But again, that's smooth, easy service to clean, no handles. And, you know, we clean before we touch it. We clean after we're done loading. And we have our cleaning crew come throughout the day to wipe down all the handles, all the doors, all the push buttons to get into our space. And then they help us by coming in and wiping down all those screens. Plus, we do it throughout the day. So I'm telling you right now, those screens get cleaned about 10 times a day, and that's without even students being here. All right, this was our original system that we moved into an area right at the end of what you were looking at. It has a very smooth door. It's a laminate finish, but again, very easy to clean, no handles. You don't need handles because the doors automatically pop up. And we, you know, trying to clean around those handles and cleaning each and every handle really slow the process down. There's just more of the dimensions there that you guys can look at this for later. All right, summary of our student lockers. And these are just the smart lockers I'm talking about. We have 3 banks, a total of 180 doors, 4 different sizes. When we've been loaded at the beginning of the school year, those 180 doors have had over 460 packages sitting inside them at the very same time. And then, because we reload and people pick up at lunch and stuff, we've done over 700 deliveries through the locker system in one day. And that's with only 180 doors. So when I hear people say, well, I'm going to buy doors and I get 2,000 packages, I don't need, you know, do I need 2,000 doors? No. The key is consolidating the packages into the same doors and make sure your locker system has that process. Reloading at lunch and critical times of the day, especially at the end before you go home. 30% of our packages will get picked up after we go home at night. Our space is open 24/7, but you know, we're able to go home at night and just come back and find the place wiped out in the morning. All right. Another key is with the system, you get the right system. You want the system that doesn't allow you to put mail in for anybody who's not here. They're closed, their box is closed, or they gave you a forward order, or they've got a hold request. You don't want to go in the lockers, it's taking up space. They're going to write you back and say, hey, I told you guys to hold that mail. Or, hey, aren't you supposed to forward that mail? So our system, as you start the process, it quickly identifies that and doesn't let the email notice go out and stop you from putting it actually in the locker, and puts it into what we call the mail group, which is basically our automated shelving system that is all tied to the computer. Here's another big thing. I've never used signatures for lockers. I've got cameras mounting on them. We've got, everything's tracked down to the second. So we've had a few over 7 years, students saying they didn't get a package. We quickly reviewed the video. We found out almost every time, yes, they did, or they gave it to their friend or their roommate or their brother, sister, whoever has access. So we don't do signatures. And now UPS, FedEx, USPS, none of them come to us asking for signatures no more. Our central receiving used to want a signature. They don't do that no more either. Nobody wants us bothering about with COVID because of signatures. So that works out great in our favor. All right, so that was student mail. We've talked about student mail, and that's what a lot of people have. But really right now, what we've been doing is department mail. Students are gone. Summer students are typically gone, but we still have departments. So I had runs set up that we did, and most people do. And you'd have to go door to door, room to room, signing signatures. What a good way to contaminate the campus or get your people contaminated. So we have very much a similar system that you have two options. You have a system where you can put it in a specific door. That department knows their door, they know their PIN, they come over, they touch the screen, and they get it every day. We also have where people that hardly ever get mail, maybe once or twice a month, they have a section that has about 30 different departments in there, and they will get an email because they're so small. They're a lot of times 1 or 2 person departments, and they only come and check mail if they get mail, and it's like a student one. Once they pick it up, it's anybody else's to use. So 10 doors services 30 departments very well. Whereas most of the other doors you see, those are for departments who get mail almost every single day. So they don't need even an email. They get one, but they don't really have to count on it. That's why you see permanent pins, so emails are not needed. But some of them like it because they don't want to walk down here, or in the case of COVID, they don't want to come to campus unless they know for sure they have mail. All right, contactless delivery and pickup. We put it in there, we clean the lockers, they come, they touch a screen, they pull it out, they close the door. No human communication is even needed unless they have a very large package that doesn't fit. And in that case, they do come to the window, but we have that. You'll see pictures of that, how we have tables and laminated things in front of them to make sure that the contact is minimal at the very best. Okay. Now, this is what I talk about, not smart lockers, but they're not dumb. 28 departments in Lam Hall. There's one building and 2 buildings next to it, 28 different departments. They don't want to come all the way across campus. They like to stay away from our areas that's hard to get to unless you're walking. And so we put these doors in there. They get mail every day. They have a permanent pin, and they will come and get it. They don't need an email. But what's great about it is I have a fob that touches each lock and opens it up. So we basically open doors 1 through 10, opens all the doors, put the mail in, close them up, do the next 10, do the next 10, wipe it down. The only thing is these weren't flush mounted locks, but they are metal, so we do have a little extra time compared to our other lockers. But no electricals needed, no LAN connections needed, no emails. It's you can set it up anywhere. They're very economically priced compared to today's smart lockers. Totally portable, and again, I think we're meeting the need of the contactless delivery because we're there before anybody else is even thinking about coming to check their mail most of the time. And in this case, the building used to be open 24/7, so anybody could come anytime. Now it's closed up because we don't want homeless people, but public safety opens and closes it during the work hours, so it still works very well. All right, so now we got the next thing. Everybody has lockers. Some people have departments, and some have been smart enough to figure out, hey, I can take those student lockers and turn them into department lockers. So that does work. But we're still worrying about all that letter mail, magazines, flats, that when you put them in the lockers, it's a lot of space you're wasting, a lot of time because they don't have barcodes. So, this is where I tell people, this is a little hard to comprehend. You really got to open your mind and say, okay, this is totally different than what we've done, except in one way for the last 100 and 200 years. Okay, so here were my mailboxes, traditional mailboxes with little knobs and windows on them. And they went up and down a hall, went up and down a hall, went down another one. At one time we had 15,000 of them. We got down to 8,700 of them. You can see the numbers, just wall spaces alone, 3,300 feet. The square foot to access those lobbies that you're looking at, 2,900 square feet. All right. And some of these have even worse. They have these fancy locks that you see down here on the bottom. Wow. Can you imagine if we had to clean all those doors every day, not knowing who picked up, who did, who didn't? I mean, you just have somebody out there cleaning all day long. Just a real quick graphic is showing this is what it used to be. Up there in the where it says old newspaper office, that used to be them. The bookstore, I mean the computer lab be over there, but everything else you've seen was mine. You can see how that box is honeycomb through the things. Those were all so we could get behind the boxes and load them up. After we got more efficient, saved money, saved time, we look like this. New bookstore came in. All the new lockers and mailboxes are in that one space over there. The rest of it became just workspaces. And then at the top is where the new passport office, my conference room where I'm at right now, and my office next to it. This is what it looks like. They're built into the wall. That's what's really great about it. These walls were already there. We just cut holes in them, and it's same thing, flush mounted, screens have no knobs on them. You just have a couple keypads that you swipe or use your smartphone. Okay, so here's what it looks like. The panel on the left is our original first 80 we tried, and then the back of it is open, just like your old PO boxes that we've used forever and ever. All right. The difference is I got a little video if we have time to show you how simple it is to load the system. We had 80 doors. We averaged about 164 pickups a day. So we would load up all 180. We'd usually get about an extra 25, 30 letters. There was one person had the same 2 letters the same day, it goes in the same box. But we would average about a little over double, right? 92%, not as good as my package pickup. My package pickup was 96 over 7 years. So letters, we're struggling at 92%. All right. So then we added the larger wall. That's an extra 200 boxes, and you can see what it looks like from behind. The space needed to access those 280 doors, very actual small. We have lockers all the way around to make it a big horseshoe, but that area is 280, and it's about 1/3 the size of the 180 of the larger. But the key is 70% of all the packages your post office will get will go in these size doors. That's what ours does year after year. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time here. This is information in the slide, but it's very simple. You're typing a box number, tells you to add it. It automatically goes to the lowest number. So if it was 1, 2, 3, and 4 was open, it goes to 4. 5 and 6 are full, 7, it goes to 7. So you're not going all over the place. So you're loading stuff right in order. It identifies the holds and forwards. It never lets us put it in there, so we're not wasting time there. They get email notifications that can be set to however you want them. We do 24. That's why we get rid of mail so much. They get an email. They'll come to me and say, Don, man, we get a lot of emails. I say, you know how you stop those? Pick up your mail. That's how it goes away. You only get it if you have mail and you're not picking it up. All right. This is just a quick screen to show you our numbers. How many doors are available, how many are occupied, and I can see that from anywhere on any computer. I can actually know exactly, even when I'm on vacation, check and see how things are going. This is what it looks like for dropping off those mailboxes. So you can see the packages that are like in blue with a little box. That means there's something in there. You can cursor over those and see everything you want to know about that mail piece. Who is it for? And if it has tracking numbers, it'll also appear. Most letters and flats don't have tracking numbers, but we do put a lot of parcels in here too to maximize that space. All right, so down here, it's very simple. We hit the drop off button. It goes to door number 1. I type my box number in there and save and new, and it just keeps doing that process. So you got somebody that's good on the keyboard, they can type 5-digit numbers. It's type a number, write it on the envelope real quick, door 1, flip it. Type a number, write it, flip it. Now when you go over to the back of the mailboxes, it'll be in the exact order, exactly where you need it to be. And if you got someone that's identified as already having one, then it'll tell you that door. And this one that just shows up a little more. It's telling you, hey, Don McCarty already has one in there, and it lets you know what door it's in. Over here, this is for if you want to put packages in, but we've simplified that. This is actually an older way of doing it. Now it's just simply at the bottom of this screen, you scan the barcode in there, and that's it. It's the only difference between letters and flats and packages is you have a chance to add a barcode. Otherwise, it's the exact same process. Okay. So after it's loaded, I come in the next day and I look in there and I say, wow, there's about 6, 7 letters that have been in there for a significant period of time. We still have open doors, but we do a thing where we transfer them to the mailroom. It lets them know that they need to come, and then the mailroom is going to be telling them if you don't come and pick up within a certain amount of days, your letter is going to be RTS. It works very well. But I went through, I highlighted over each one. It tells me how old it is. I select it, and then where it says recover selected, it just moves those letters from there into our database that's for the mail room. And so if I go into the mail room, I will see all those letters move. I physically have to pull them out and put them on the shelf in alphabetical order, but I don't have to do any other scanning, any other work, and it's very efficient that way. Now, I've got a couple quick videos. I could stay here for a long time and do this, but I want to just show you right now how quick the mailbox process works. I just made these videos, so they're not professional.
To quickly and efficiently put letters, flats, and small parcels into the rear-loaded smart mailboxes. First step you do is you click drop off. You then go to the screen and you simply type in the 5-digit PO box. It gives you the name. You select the name and you select save and new. This then identifies that it went into door 2. And you can see the name of the person who put it in there, time and date. The next thing you do is you want to go and you want to do one more drop off. So you come to it, you grab the letter, and this happens to be a letter for the same person. So he's got a second letter. And down here on the screen, it tells you that he has one in box 2. It was immediately going to go to the first available box that was open, but since it already has one, it saves a lot of space by letting you click the little box, and it automatically changes to where the customer had his original letter. And then you can hit, you just back out of the system. It doesn't record that you put multiple pieces in there.
Okay, so that one is real simple on how to load it, and you can do that over and over. The one part, it identifies you to what door it is, but we don't want to just make it worse by somebody getting 6, 7 letters and have 6 or 7 emails go out. So when it comes to just letters, we don't worry about keep adding those. Now, if it's a package, we'll just scan the barcode, and every package will get an email, and every package will have its email tracking number in it so they know which it is. All right, here's just another quick video on how simple it is. So we've got this going, but we've got a lot of forwards going. I got hundreds of forwards and hundreds of holds from here probably till school starts. And what we don't want to do is put any of that mail into those boxes and take up valuable door space. So this video just shows you how that's done real quick.
The system is also designed to identify anyone who has a forward or a hold or a close already in the system. You don't want to put mail in there. 1, it sends out an email, and 2, you want to send those or put them in the appropriate spot. So you simply hit drop off. The screen pulls up the first available door. You put the box number in there for the letter, and you see the flag on the thing. It is saying that there is either a forward or a hold in the system. So it doesn't allow you to put it in the system.
Okay. And basically a close is that same exact process, but what happens is you type in like Don McCarty's box number, then it'll just come up completely blank. And that means there's nobody assigned to that box number. So you don't waste your time trying to add that. Here is a video on how we do our drop off for the lockers.
The agent would come up, slide his card. He then just picks the process he is, which in this case is drop off. He simply syncs the scanner to the screen, picks up the package, scans the barcode, verifies the tracking number, hits continue, now enters the 5-digit box number that is on the mail, gives you a chance to verify the screen, name, box number, selects that, and then it lets you pick the door size that you're interested in. Places it in the locker, closes the door. You can see we touch the screen and the door, so we clean those before and after every use.
And then the last one I have is really short. It just shows, if you haven't seen, how simple the pickup is for a locker.
Students have 3 choices on how to pick up their packages. They can use the mobile app for totally contactless. They can put a PIN number in, or they can swipe their school ID card. When the school ID card is swiped, it's recognized it, the door pops open, and that's all it is. So they can get away just touching as little as just the door, and just to close it.
Okay, so I put those videos together. There's more I'll be making them professional, but a lot of times people just quite never seen it, and they just don't understand how simple it is and how little contact there is. All right, here's some pros of the smart mailboxes versus traditional boxes. You know, we've already talked about the space you're going to save. You know, people can't open up them. You know, students, if I show 1,000 students on Monday how to open the old PO boxes, I had to do 900 the next day, 800 the next, and it just was a pain. You put mail in there for forward or close. You don't catch it all the time. Maybe it wasn't updated. It's just a lot of things. This system prevents you from making mistakes. And then that's just more of them. Like I said, you're going to get this presentation. I don't want to waste too much time going over all these, but you know, some highlighted. No more PO box numbers or names. You know, every semester I used to have to do 4,000 labels, tear down labels, put new labels up. What a waste of time. Of course, that's a lot of touching things now that we'd be touching label makers. We'd have the whole staff in there doing it. None of that's needed anymore. We used to put cards up for forwards and holds. So you wouldn't put it in there. There'd be this thing said F, forward, C, closed, H, hold. Well, system does it all automatically now. There's no doing that stuff. I preached about this for a couple of years until we got it operational, but the students just never understood it. Like anybody who's come and visited me, till they get here and say like, oh, now I get it. So I will encourage you, when COVID lets us go back to making moves, if you're interested in the system, I've had schools from all over the country come here, and they have almost all bought, because when they see this, it's just shining a light on a problem. And now we have the high density folder system. You know, we're ripping out the boxes, and we're putting hanging folders over there, and we're labeling those folders in some cases. Sometimes we're just numbering them, and they're acting kind of like my boxes that you reuse, but you're still having to put them in the folder, and then a customer is going to show up at the window, and you have to go pull it out, and then you have to hand that to the customer. 1, it's manual work. 2, it's labor intensive. 3, you know, you're still making a lot closer contact than you need to. And like I said, it's not 24/7, it's only when. And we're going to be fighting, having enough bodies to run this. No temp, maybe no student workers, really limited manpower during COVID. We only had my staff and nobody else, no students, no temps. This would have really made it difficult, and with reduced operating hours, it even makes it more difficult, because now you got to jam all those people into a shorter period of time. Yeah, I just want to show this. You know, at the end of every semester, under the old traditional things, when we would end the last day of semester, and I sent 2 weeks, every day, 2 weeks of notice saying, come and get your mail before you leave. Even with that email to every single person who had a piece of email, and everyone, at the end, we'd pull everything out. There'd be about 4,000 pieces of mail left behind that students didn't pick up. Statements, some of them were really important stuff. Here you can go and see on this how many we had on the last day of school the previous semester before COVID. 0 in lockers 1 and 2, everything went into 3. And then we just had mailbox 1 and 2, had very limited numbers in there. I ended up with around 100 pieces for the entire post office. That's everything, letters, flats, magazines. That's all I had left, and that's really rare. Picture of our mobile app. What's really great about it, it does require no contact, even with the screen when you use the mobile app. All right, some of the latest changes for smart lockers, seamless automated transition from lockers to the shelving for mail. That's what mine does. You know, if I say transfer it from locker 1 to the mailroom, it's just a click of a button. I go in, I look on the computer again, behind the scenes, and it shows that same package is now sitting on a shelf. The add and forward functionality really has eliminated so much waste of time and bad emails. Picking up multiple packages. The original systems, you put one package in one door at a time. That's it. No consolidating, no identifying it. Just you didn't have a choice. Right now, you've got 3 ways to pick up. It's pretty standard. People are adding QR codes to make it a QR code reader where they don't have to touch the screen at all. Okay. So now we're going to talk about a little bit about our COVID procedures. You know, we put up floor stickers everywhere, marking where you could stand in line for our windows, our passports, our lockers, our mailboxes. Here we put this table in front that's clearly marked, and we put the plexiglass front up there, left enough room to bring packages underneath. Clerk stands on the other side. It's a 6-foot gap, mandatory. We have a sink down here that's a portable sink. So it's got a tank for clean water and a tank for bad water. So as soon as we're done handling the mail, the sorting, we got those gloves that could not be infected. You know, you can throw them away right there, wash your hands, and you can go on to do something else. If you're going to go out and work at the locker system, we usually have you start off with another pair of gloves, make sure your hands are clean. But this sink can go wherever we want. It's totally self-contained. So wherever the work's at is where we can move it. There's a stanchions in the passport office. We did the same thing. Stickers on the table, stickers on the floor. And this is just the plexiglass dividers, floor signs, stanchions, controlling traffic, signs on the door, letting people know. We closed our main window for a long time. So we had signs put up on that to go to the side package pickup window. Put your clings. We've got the push button openings. We tell them to use their elbows. Hand sanitizers before you go outside, almost throughout the building, of course. And mask and gloves for all people. You see the one picture we had our own, one of our people's wife made a mask. Thorough and repeated cleanings. You know, everything's very smooth. So lots of cleaning and very easy to get clean. That's the important. You could clean all day if you want, but we don't. It really lowers it. And of course, the mobile sink. All right. So now we're getting to the point where, yes, you know, we've got these lockers and they're great for mail, but what else can we do? Well, we've talked to the bookstore. You know, they get a lot of books in. People order books from their bookstore, and their bookstore headquarters sends it to here, and we receive those in and give it to the bookstore. We've told them that we're perfectly happy to start putting those in the lockers. If they want to have them come into their store, but you know, after hours, they know people want to pick up, they can give it to us. I can easily put them in there to give a 24/7 access, especially over the weekends for the students. The library, they want less traffic over there. So they're talking about kids ordering books online, bringing them over and giving them us. So we can put them in the lockers so they don't even have to go into the building, just into our lobby. The ID office, you know, they're always making new IDs. You know, if you already have an ID, your picture's already there, you lost it, you need a new one, they can print it out and put it in a campus envelope, have it come to us, and we can make delivery of it. Register and grad office, man, I just tell you, we made a lot of money on diplomas, transcripts, regalia. This used to be stuff that was handed out. Very few ended up getting mailed out. Man, thousands and thousands of these diplomas and regalia items. And, you know, we have a small surcharge for each one we do because it goes out as a package. Print office, well, that's us. We do a majority of it. We make sure other people have to send us the print jobs. So we control that. So when we print it ourselves, it goes into the doors. And if somebody, you know, we didn't have the capability, it comes back to us and we still can deliver it that way for departments and their department doors. All right, ticket office, another consideration. Campus mail distribution. We've always done that with mail, but some people have not always had that as part of their job. Right, and then of course we eliminate runs. We were just going into, we mainly delivered, one of our best runs was going to where all the vice presidents were at, into every one of their offices. They immediately found like, hey, we don't want you doing that. So, hey, we got rid of runs and they all come to us and they get 24/7 access. All right, things to consider. When was the last time you left your office and every piece of mail that came in was available for customer access 24/7? That's what it is. Our letters, flats, magazines, we don't ever go home at the end of the day without every piece of mail being in a container that they can pick up when we leave. That's every single day. Parcel lockers, only 6 times in over 6 years, now almost getting to be 7. Every item has been in the locker by close of business except for 6 times. That's it. As busy as we are, we still stay. Now that means I stay a little later than 4:30 or 5 o'clock, but I still like to say I got them in. All right. Every item, we do a quality check. When we load up that system completely, we do a quality check immediately after. So we know every letter went into the right box every time. And so we're not having to worry about somebody putting it up or down, left or right, wrong box, and somebody else coming getting somebody's check, because we do that quality check. And depends on if it's, hardly loaded or completely loaded, it's 5 to 15 minutes twice a day, 3 times a day when we're extremely busy. All right. Before I had mail, I only had mail sorting and delivery and ran a CPU. Because of the efficiency of the lockers and the smart lockers, we now have the ability to take over the print function. We started printing envelopes and flyers and letterhead and banners and posters, but the school found out how efficient we were. So they gave us the responsibility for getting prices on everything we couldn't do and telling who could print it, get it back, and then give it to the customers. That without any new personnel. We opened up a passport and photo business, very, very lucrative. Same thing. Didn't have to worry about hiring more bodies. We had the bodies. We just found a new guy, but we already had the person. All right. We've earned a reputation to get things done. When they were ready to close down campus, they all quickly realized Postal has to stay here. There's just too much stuff that has to get done. And of course, our president was saying, and Postal can print this, and he can print that, and they can print that. So he was our biggest fan because we've done a good job of keeping him informed. All right. When you go to do lockers, find the right business partner that'll work with you. Make sure you take the time. Don't take it easy. There's companies out there that you might already have business with, but they don't have the full, complete solution to handle every piece of mail, letters, flats, parcels, into the lockers, forwards, holds. They don't have those systems. Do your work. Review your total mail process, not just the packages. Letters are going to be an issue if you don't. All outsourcing companies now will come to you wanting to take over your operation. None of them will not. Every one of them will talk to you about you need to get lockers. They all know that's where they're going to save time and money. Anybody without lockers is going to be like 10 years ago when people didn't know what a package tracking system was. Everybody thought it was neat to get a package tracking system. It was neat, but it didn't do anything to deliver the mail. It just recorded what you did. All right, so all outsourced mail operations, usually because of one person in each operation. Could be the guy in charge, could be a boss, could be the boss's boss. But generally, it all falls down to one thing. They didn't have the vision or to see how technology could help. They didn't have the desire to want to work hard enough to go through the process of figuring it out, ordering it, working with the vendor, and convincing bosses. Or in some cases, just the bosses didn't care, didn't have the knowledge, or had no idea what was happening in this arena. So they never, wanted to learn about it. And that goes back to the guy in charge. He should be talking to those people all the time. All right. Think out of the box, embrace technology. Got to have a metric system. There's great RFPs out there that really help you out, but you got to know how many door sizes you need and how many doors you need. Do not overbuy. I've seen schools overbuy and they're happy that half their lockers never get used. Well, they could have done something different. Consider the time saved on inefficient processes. That's key. When you're going to convince people how much it costs, you can make sure you show them how much time is wasted, how many bodies are wasted. And that really adds up. The space, hey, they thought they were going to stick it to me when we redid our Culp Center, the building I reside in. They're like, hey, we're going to take away half your space, Don. I'm thinking, thank you, because I wanted these lockers to expand and do more, and the mailboxes, and that was the perfect excuse because it was the only way to handle the solution. Don't always go with the cheapest. We all know in life the cheapest is very seldom the best. You don't have to go with the most expensive, but there's some really, really cheap locker system out there that does put one thing in and someone can pick it up, nothing else. All right. I'm just going to tell you all again, when the travel ban is listed, we have had schools from all over the Southeast Conference, from California, Hawaii, Maine, Florida. They all come here. It's very cheap to get here. I'll show you a great system and let you actually do some work for us. And when you leave here, you're just like, holy crap, this is game changer. All right. So at that time, we're going to be able to go into some questions. We got about 18 minutes. So generally, I had you in a room locked up. I say, give me 7 good questions and you can leave, but you might be able to slide out without that happening today. So we can go back to questions. Thank you very much.
All right, Don. Actually, you've got 2. So guys, you're a quarter of the way there. Come on. How many students are at East Tennessee?
We have 15,000 undergrad and grad. Any given time, we have about 3,000 in housing, and I have about 1,000 students that live off campus, but they live in, not the greatest places. So 1,000 of them keep their boxes, and they like it. It's like my son, he was here forever trying to get a degree, and he lived in about 12 different places, but at one address, even though he lived in 12 different locations.
Oh, okay. And a question about the lockers that were in the building that was across campus. You called them dumb lockers. Is that what they're called actually?
No, there's not a really good name for them because I kind of, I worked with the vendor to come up with the locks and the solution. So he calls them department lockers. So I either have smart department lockers or not so smart department lockers. They really work well in many ways, except you just don't have all that electronic access and recording and visibility. But if you got remote locations or you got places where it really isn't that important, the price is going to be significantly cheaper than any smart locker system of a comparable doors.
Okay, and who are the vendors that provide lockers, and who is your provider?
Mine is TZ, Telezl Zakabi. I don't even know why they have such a long name, but everybody refers to them as TZ. Neopost, Pitney Bowles. There's some other companies that are coming and going. It's Influx. If anybody wants to send me that email, I can give you a better list of those. Companies have Parcel Pending was bought out by Neopost. Pitney Bowles, it was in the industry for years, got out, came back. So it's always something happening.
Okay. How often does your system update with holds and forwards?
Okay, well, so we do that every day. I have a program called PO Box Manager, and what that does is all the students can log on anytime they want, and they can close their box, they can forward their mail, they can hold their mail, they can add an authorized, like if they're married or have children, they can add authorized things. So every day when we come in the morning, that report is waiting for us. And then if it's just a few, it's quicker for us to go in and manually load them into the TZ system. But if it's like 150, 200, 500 because of something big happened like the end of school or start of the school, we can upload those through a CSV file into TZ.
Okay. What do you do when you have a UPS or a FedEx return?
UPS won't let us, FedEx will. So we can give back the ones. So if it's a UPS, we'll normally contact the students and say, hey, this package can't be forwarded. What do you want to do with it? They have several options. Do you have anybody here that can still pick it up? Can you come by and still pick it up? Or if they need to and I need to forward it somewhere, I'll put it on the scale. We'll tell them what the postage is, and they can send us a money order, and we can forward it. And honestly, we get so few of them. Usually somebody else can pick up for them. I'd say we don't even do one every 3 months for the UPS. And FedEx, they're not supposed to forward them, but they'll take them. It's hit or miss with the drivers, it seems. Okay.
Okay. Are Amazon lockers only for their packages?
Amazon has two types of systems. One that's just for their packages, and that's what it is. And then you have ones that are controlled by the schools or by a bookstore, and so they could put other stuff in them. Like bookstores on campus will use Amazon lockers, and they can put them in there. I don't know if Amazon wants you to put them in there. I'm against Amazon lockers for the main reason there's no control, there's no visibility, but anything goes wrong with mail on campus, everybody comes to one spot. They're coming to me asking, why did my package get lost? So same thing at every other campus. So when you go to Amazon, you lose total visibility, can't answer questions, and you're giving away part of your job. You know, which I'm not a big fan of giving away my job by letting somebody else do the deliveries.
Okay. Do you handle off-campus mail, student mail, or just only on campus?
Well, like I said, we have the 3,000 students that are generally living somewhere on campus, and we handle all their delivery. And then there's about 1,000 kids that have moved off campus that they just don't live in a great place or want their mail still to come to ETSU, and they'll come by and pick it up when they go to class or at night or on the weekend. So, but we allow all 15,000, if they want to, they can all still use the system. Okay.
Okay. Actually, and that's a good idea. That's a good idea, because my son lived in some places that I wouldn't want him mail delivered to. Okay. What is your plan, or how have you handled overly large packages? For example, oh my gosh, Heather receives tires, huge car parts, etc.
Okay, so we all do. I get bikes, I get beds, I get 65-inch TVs 1 week before graduation. I don't know why. So basically with those, we scan them into what we call our mail room, which is our shelving system, which is tied in to the TZ system. And it sends an email and it says, you have a package tracking number so-and-so, please come to the mailroom during the following hours. So they're told, hey, come to the window, and you got to come during our hours that we're open, and then we're able to either hand it over the window to them, or we'll take it out our back door. We have some delivery carts, and we generally, well, you know, actually put it in the car for most of them if it's big enough. Any other questions on that?
Last guess. Heather has one more question.
Okay.
Just for you. How come you don't have a Southern accent?
Well, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and so us people from Nebraska, we don't have accents, just everybody else does in the country.
Mike Lloyd said that this morning about the South.
Yeah, I'm right in the part of the country where we got the West Virginia, the Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. They're all here. So you can become a linguist here almost, trying to study the language.
It's so funny.
Any other good questions?
Well, no, we got a ha-ha from Catherine Chambers, so that was pretty cute. It's been so good. This has been so informative. Well, anybody else have any questions? Oh, Heather says she's my boss.
So, you know, I kind of rushed through it. So back there on some of those slides, you know, you're going to get the full presentation. Please go ahead and take the time to look over those. And my phone number is on there. You know, get in contact with me if you have any more questions. I didn't want to bog down too long in there, but we could have done this for 3 hours and I'd still be happy as a lark. But not everybody loves this as much as I do. So review that material good. And if you got more questions, just send them to me as an email or give me a call.
Well, really appreciate it, Don.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that IPMA is making this available. I was, of course, I was going to be speaking on this subject down there in Florida. I was really looking forward to it. I think there has been a good interest. People are really, starting to see that more and more. Even when you can see there's that relation between the print and mail, but also how the mailing can help deliver these print jobs, especially through, like I talked about, the department mail. A lot less running around, and when people come to my operation, that lobby, is like clean enough to be eaten off of. It's clean so often, so people never feel intimidated coming there 24/7, well lit, easy access, push buttons. So really take advantage on the print side. You should be talking to the mail side if that's not you directly. Really saying, hey, we could work together on this to really help both of us. Give Pelso more mail, which is they always should like, and help you get rid of your stuff on the print side quicker and easier. I think that's all I have, probably.
Well, IPMA really appreciates your time that you've taken with us today, Don. Matthew, from Matthew Albers, thank you for the presentation session, Don. Very informative. I know we've got a lot of requests for your PDF on this, and we have recorded it. So we just really appreciate you. We appreciate all you do for implants and for IPMA. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I would just want to remind everybody that tomorrow we have two more webinars that we are presenting. The one at 10, you don't have to grin and bear it, learning resiliency's best practices. Presenter is Dr. Trish Holiday. If you were on this morning's webinar, you got to meet Trish. She's a hoot. At 2 o'clock, we've got a panel discussion led by Joe Morgan, COVID-19 and in-house print, the path to recovery. And we're going to Des Moines. Yes! If you haven't already, go to IPMA.org website. You can see the video for IPMA 2021. Also, you can go to find more webinars that we're doing this week. We're so happy to have you with us. Thank you guys so much. You have a great day. Stay safe.
All right.